Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fight Me Bro Betting Show. This week, we're breaking down for you UFC. Oh, God. I told myself I was going to look it up. 257.
Yeah, I think I was gonna. That
Is
was
that
my
it?
guess. I think that was my guess.
Let's
257.
just check it, double check that real quick. UFC 257.
Like
No,
64.
I accidentally typed in 157.
Oh, who was fighting on that?
Probably Damian Maya still. No, it's not
Wait, Damian
257.
Maya's
No,
on this card?
no. I'm just saying it's been that fucking long.
Oh,
256, I think.
you could have said yes. I would have totally believed you.
Yeah, no, for sure. You could always like no one ever pays attention for when a Damian Maya fight's coming up until it is the week Damian Maya is ready to fight.
Yeah.
But it's UFC 256 at the main card. We got
Mm.
Brandon Moreno versus Davison Figueiredo.
I'm assuming you don't have any Bellator though.
I do not.
There's a couple ones I looked at. I don't have any, but Alima Lay McFarland is an underdog this weekend.
I did see that. Is this other girl just a fucking monster? Like who is she?
She's beating up a lot of hot chicks. I looked at it, and that was my research. So she's
then
beating.
Fucking McFarland looks in the mirror. She's like, "Oh shit, I'm too hot."
Like, yeah, no, I'm dead serious. That was my analysis. I'm like, her last two. This girl's last two wins, I think, are over the little tiny Brazilian chick, Bruna Ellen, and then that Ecuadorian chick.
Oh,
Lara.
Yeah. Fuck, Alejandra Laura or something like that.
Yeah, Laura is her last name. So
yeah, Laura.
Right. So this chick's on a tear of beating up hot ass chicks. So Alima Lay McFarland, that doesn't bode well. Literally and figuratively.
But we are just sticking with the UFC for this card because we actually quite a bit of fights. I like the main card a lot. I almost bet every single fight on the main card. I have four.
Oh, also, sorry, quick. I just have it pulled up, but. Another quick call out, just one of the all-time names on that Bellator card too. I think this guy, this is going to sound so ignorant because I just haven't paid attention to him and all the wrestling hardos are going to get pissed. But one of my favorite names in MMA, Romero Cotton, is fighting.
What's the last name?
Cotton.
Strong name.
Romero Cotton, big time. I'm pretty sure he was a D1 champ or something, but the real strong name. I just had it pulled up. Had to point that out. So not too bad of a Bellator card. It'll be tonight by the time
big week for Bellator. Them picking out Rumble Johnson and having a pretty big card. So
that'll be a topic of conversation on the podcast. But Dana White doing classic stupid Dana White shit.
Yeah. I don't know what the man's doing. Yeah. Tune in to the Fight Me Bro radio show on Tuesday when we discuss that. But this week we're just getting into the bets. So like I said, I have 5 bets in 4 fights. Nick has 4 bets in 3 fights. So I'll get started. My first bet. Actually, this just got moved to the prelims, which is kind of stupid because it's an absolute banger of a fight. It's the Fiziev and Moicano fight. I'm going Fiziev at minus 155. I feel like the obvious pick is Moicano being like, he is the. So? Well, I think to the public. Because Moicano as the name from like 145 run. He got pretty close to a title shot. Now he's at 155. Fiziev's, I think, only got 2 fights in the UFC. And I don't know if he's finished either of them. But his last one being against who's the red hair fuck?
Diakase.
Yes, was against him. He did that fucking like basically Neo in the Matrix shit where he just fucking bent his straight back, which if you've seen this guy in his YouTube videos, he trains out of Tiger Muay Thai and has a bunch of just badass training videos. And if you know anything about me, that is enough for me to get on the hype train. So I am jumping on early on his 3rd fight into the UFC and I'm taking him at minus 155. I just think it's going to be a stand-up kickboxing match. And in this case, Fiziev just happens to be a better kickboxer. Usually Moicano is the better kickboxer, but unfortunate for him, not in this matchup.
I just don't. I don't know why I didn't put this on my card. Actually, now that we're talking about it, it's not, and I'm not going to add it now. But I just don't. I think Moicano kind of he's one of those guys that was really good. This is going to sound like such a terrible take to people. Are going to be like, no, he's actually really good. He's got to show me that he's more than a jab.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a problem. And that was a big thing. And then when he's at 45, obviously that helps because he's 10 times bigger than everyone. But
Just keeping people at range and keeping people at the end of his jab and then following up with the 2 is just all I have envisioned of Moicano. Maybe leg kicks in there, but like nothing ever too like dangerous. I'm sure he's got some finishes, and I'm sure, he's a very technical.
Well, I know he's got some finishes, but I don't know that he's got that. And this guy's from Kyrgyzstan, which means he's kind of psychotic. Literally, Moicano's last fight was a guillotine.
Who the fuck did he guillotine?
Damir Hadzovic.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and then he got nuked by the Zombie, nuked by Aldo. He also submitted Cub Swans. Okay, that doesn't really count. Moicano, that win over Calvin Kattar is such a weird one, man.
Yeah, true.
So that kind of invalidates a lot of what I was saying, but I just am not seeing it. And he's going up to 55. I get that. What's it called? Zombie and Aldo can bang. I don't know. I'm with you. I like the Fiziev guy. Not on my card, but
there's nothing again like that. I could see Moicano like being able to take this away from being just a straight up kickboxing fight. And like, he's just not the better kickboxer here. I'm sorry. And if he is, he is, but I'm betting that he's not. So 155. Yeah. It's the name screams out at you. It's like, oh, Moicano, but at 155, I just don't think we're getting the same Moicano as 45. Not the same advantages. So who do you got up first?
Okay. We're going with the new and improved Mack truck. Minus 200 over Verna Jandiroba. I'm on the Mackenzie Dern train now. I was off of it for a while, not on the Baywatch aspect of things, just on the how good are you at fighting aspect of things. I genuinely think that she's somehow, maybe dad cowboy, mom Mackenzie. I don't know.
I was gonna say, ever since that was like, that's been the
catalyst.
The turning point from her career was her popping out a baby.
Yeah, and it's also helped her out a lot that people have fought her about as stupidly as they could fight her, in the sense that, like, I'm in on Mackenzie Dern, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to try to sell you. I thought going into her last fight, like, much like you, I got duped by some training videos. I thought that the striking was going to look crisp. It did not. That said, she just basically flung herself to the ground. Like, she's got the ability to do all these. It's a very, and we'll get to this fight, it's a very Charles Oliveira-esque situation where you can try all these crazy, like, whizzer throws and like all this stuff, because the bad thing about those throws is if you fuck it up, you're going to go for a ride and end up getting launched. Mackenzie Dern does that. And then instead of launching her and then just exit stage righting and making her stand up, for whatever reason, girls have just decided to follow to the ground and get submitted instantaneously. So she does have that luxury. This Verna Jandiroba chick also fancies herself as something of a submission person. So I'm very interested to see what her strategy is, to be honest. She submitted Felice Herrig and Mallory Martin, which, I mean, I don't know if it gets much easier than submitting two people to me than that. And now no offense, but offense. Where like Mackenzie, Ronda Marcos, pretty legit, and Hannah Cyphers, okay, not great. But then those are the two, those are the two fights she had after the Ribas fight. So I don't know. I'm just in on Dern. I think that she's gonna get in, and especially if this chick who also thinks that she's this is a classic. There's levels to this. Like, if this chick thinks that she's going to get on the ground with Mackenzie Dern, like, no, I'm good here. No, you are not. Like, Mackenzie Dern's really fucking good on the ground. And everybody that stupidly follows her there knows this. Now, if this chick pulls some K1 kickboxing shit out of her ass, we could have ourselves a little scrap here. But minus 200, I'm going to bank that that's not going to happen. Dern will put her on the ground. I stupidly didn't look up the submission line, actually.
I was just going to say that, because I did see on Embedded today that she was saying she wants submission of the year, and she doesn't think she has it yet. So she's like, hopefully in this match, she's able to get it. And from all I heard about this other girl is that, she's kind of actually uglier at striking than Mackenzie Dern, which is surprising. And,
that's perfect.
And her strengths are just on the ground, and she is very dangerous.
I just figured they both weren't very good at striking.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're both not good at striking, then I'm definitely going to give the edge to Mackenzie Dern. And again, she has the ability to be a world champion in a different sport, which means like she's an alpha athlete. Like I don't so at the end they both their grappling skill level might be the same level, but Mackenzie Dern is an alpha athlete. So I like her there. I'll be betting on Dern at Mac Dern for sure. I just didn't put it on the card. Also excited. I need to see what that subline is too. All right, moving on to my second pick. This one is, what is it, third from the top? Jacare versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland been absolutely lighting it up. I think he's got 4 wins in 2020 already, going for 5. He's gonna get shut down here. Minus 120. Go with Jacare.
This is such a trap bet either way. I stayed so far away from this.
It really is, because if you take Jacare like I am, and he goes out there and he gets starched, and it's like, dude, what did you think the athletic guy that's been nuking everyone in very early
man?
Yeah, exactly. Or at the same time, it's like if you look a little bit further, Kevin Holland hasn't really. He's done a lot, like actual fighting, but
quantity.
What is his resume actually saying to us? He's being kind of a lot of people that are very meh, no one that's on even close to the level that Jacare ever was.
Charlie Ontiveros, you beat your boy the dentist.
You beat the dentist.
He knocked out Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah, he did.
And then Anthony Hernandez, I think. Anthony Hernandez.
So a bunch of like people that are like on the UFC roster, but like Jacare has been at the top for so long, and I know we've seen a steady decline. It doesn't help. I'm surprised that he's the dog here. I mean, he's the favorite here. I think when the line first opened, Kevin Holland was the favorite, which made all the sense in the world, seeing that Jacare is like, is he over 40?
I think he is 40.
Oh, I mean that
oh,
it's tough, but I'm just looking at Kevin Holland's
41.
Ooh, that's tough.
Oh,
I just don't see a fight where this doesn't eventually go to the ground or get involved in grappling and somehow. And I just, for some reason, I'm picturing either submission or Jacare just being able to get on top somehow, and Kevin Holland having no idea how to get out. Like Kevin Holland knows jiu-jitsu and he knows grappling, but he doesn't know it nearly to the level of Jacare. And like you said in the last fight, there's levels to this shit. I think eventually you're going to see it's like, okay, Kevin, there's still a little bit of a jump. He was looking for that fight to put him right into like, Kevin Holland's a top 5 guy. We might have to put him into title contention. It's like, I don't think Kevin Holland's there yet. He's hovering around top 10 still. And I think Jacare, even so he lost to Blachowicz at 205, who's now the fucking champ. And then he lost to Jack Hermanson in a 5-round fight that I actually thought Jacare did pretty okay against. It's like he lost those few early and then kind of came back against a younger opponent, which you don't really see. So, because my gut said so hard go Kevin Holland, and after looking deeper into it, I'm liking my pick at
fade yourself.
Jacare. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I will be staying miles away from that fight. I want nothing to do with that. Okay, next we're going to go into what everyone's actual fight of the night is going to be. It is going to be the Charles Oliveira and Tony Ferguson fight, and we finally are back. It has been so goddamn long since we've had one, but we're back to the Daily Double.
Oh, God.
The bottom line, folks,
you and the Daily Double is just like Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams. Like, I can't quit you. I can't, just in the rain. Like, I can't quit you.
I can't. It's just like there's no I just can't. Or wait, hang on. I'd spent so long. It might not even be. Is the Daily Double? Which one is the way? Like, what do I call the ones? Is the Daily Double the one where I bet it both ways?
I think so.
Okay, so this is not a Daily Double. This will be a Daily Double down. I'm going 2 on the same guy.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Slight variation, but I think the concept of Daily Double is just there's 2 very specific things that need to happen.
You're correct. And and very specific. So the bottom line of this fight is, while we're talking about people being old, is sadly Tony Ferguson's old. And I know that Justin Gaethje's really, really, really fucking good. And I don't think Tony Ferguson's like, I don't want to say that he's completely shot, in the sense that if it was somebody that wasn't Justin Gaethje, he probably would not. And by probably, I mean really would not. I mean, it basically would have had to have been Gaethje, Connor, or Dustin. Like, I think Tony Ferguson looks fine against a Dan Hooker. I think Tony Ferguson looks fine against Paul Felder. I think he looks fine against all those guys. It's just really anybody that can box and is going to be patient and is going to have just better technical boxing, like Dustin, Connor, Justin. That's not going to be good for Tony Ferguson anymore. I just don't. I think I don't know. There's something that just doesn't seem right. Where like he's got the cardio, but he doesn't have like on heavy hands. They were saying the speed. I don't know if it's the speed so much as it's like he doesn't have the combos. Like I don't know. It's different. Like it's not the Tony Ferguson that was butchering Edson Barbosa anymore. Like that guy has exited stage right. He's gone. And that said, I do think this will be a relatively good fight for as long as it lasts, because there is always a chance that Tony Ferguson just wades forward and Charles Oliveira gets the yips. He hasn't had the yips in a while. But once you have them, it's like herpes, man. You could have it. That shit could be dormant for years. And then all of a sudden your wife thinks you're like cheating with the hookers and shit because you just got Mount Vesuvius down there. And it's like it just flares up. And so
it's the ever debate. Can you ever really get rid of the yips, or is the yips always just waiting, just doing push-ups, waiting just for its day to rise up and fuck you in the ass?
Exactly. So that's possible. But here's the double. We're going with Oliveira. We're betting on youth. And the other thing that we're doing, I saw this line. I couldn't believe my eyes. And when I see a juicy bet like this, no chance of passing it up. Charles Oliveira by sub in round 2, plus 1,400.
Don't hate that.
So you double up the units on Oliveira just in case he wins outright and doesn't sub him in 2. And then you go for 1 for that plus 1,400. Because here's the thought process. You don't take the trap at sub in round 3, cue him subbing him in round 3.
Yeah.
You don't take the trap because I think that's up at plus 2,800. Charles Oliveira will be tired by then. There's no chance.
You also don't take the bait of round 1 where everyone thinks like right away he might be able to snatch something early. Yep.
But then the thought process here is just Tony Ferguson's in a weird spot right now where he has mowed through a lot of the guys that I think he's probably going to mow through. And he is just left with dog shit style matchups at the top. And Charles Oliveira is not a top ranked guy, but he's one of those style matchups. Like if Charles Oliveira comes out in his Muay Thai and stand up in general looks just as good as it did against Kevin Lee. And I know that Kevin Lee is not a K1 kickboxer, but I'm just saying if it's aggressive like that and he's letting the hands go, I'm not so sure that goes well for Tony Ferguson. And then the other thing is, Tony Ferguson is not a get you on the ground and pound wrestler. He's a scrambly, catch you in a submission wrestler. And like, Tony Ferguson's not catching Charles Oliveira in a submission. That's not going to happen. Yeah. So I think we're probably going to see an old Tony Ferguson. We're going to see Oliveira beat him up a little bit in the first round, sometime in the second round. And that's the other thing. I actually like the second round bet in the sense that this is a 3-round fight, because Tony, who hasn't had a 3-round fight in a hot minute, is going to be, well, I guess he had the Cowboy fight, but
that was still over 2 years ago.
Yeah. He's going to be going like gas pedal's going to be on. So what I'm saying is high pace, a lot of scrambling. Oliveira's going to snatch something up in that second round. And then you just cash this gigantic plus 1,400 bet, which I think would be the biggest single bet that I've given out on this show that's been a winner.
As awesome as that would be, I have to totally disagree. I do think there's a decent shot at the second, like at plus 1,400. Like, think of like how many possibility outcomes they have of this actual fight, and I feel like at plus 1,400, they're not valuing the likelihood of Oliveira snatching up a sub at some point in this fight. But I don't think that's going to happen. this doesn't make any sense. Like the line doesn't make any sense. Oliveira should definitely be the favorite here. This kind of reminds me of the Jack Hermanson Vettori fight where it's like the wrong guy's favorite here, but I'm still taking the favorite in Tony Ferguson. I'm not ready to write him off just yet. This might be the MMA touts of listening to different shows and saying everything like this, but people are making a lot of good points about Oliveira. Yes, he's had his heart issues and his yips issues in the past where he has just quit. And Oliveira has looked better, like stronger in his striking, especially in his most recent fights. He's actually like putting people away. But like I think he's looked better in his like dominant striking, where he's like beating up on someone than his exchanges with people. It's when he's throwing the punches and he's laying those straight 1-2s right down the pipe. He looks great, but he got tuned up a decent amount by Kevin Lee, and Kevin Lee's not the best of strikers at all. He's really just good at grappling. And so like if a guy like Kevin Lee is able to tag him, a guy, even a slow age Tony Ferguson, is going to be able to land some punches. And that I think is where it's going to come down to the fight, where Oliveira has shown he's very good at being the hammer, especially against smaller, shorter opponents, which is why he like wanted to stay at 45 so bad. But like he's going to be the hammer. He's going to come out very strong. I just don't know how he's going to react when there's another hammer coming right back at him. And like the amount of volume, and that's what it's going to come down to. Like you said, like, I don't know if that same guy is there, and I'm not banking on the Edson Barbosa where it's like, dude, he's coming through with these combinations that are just fucking endless and they're just smooth and there's nothing you could do about it. I don't expect him to have that, but I'm expecting like Oliveira comes in 1-2, lands for sure, flush. Tony Ferguson has shown his chin is still there, so I don't expect him to get dropped right away. And I just see him answering back, coming through just like straight at him with like 3 or 4 punches. And it's like, oh, fuck. And I can see him having a couple of those rounds right off the bat. I see him taking 2 out of 3. I like him at 170. Also, another very big, this would be another kind of like the other one where it's like, oh, if Charles Oliveira goes out there and just starts as Tony and be like, oh, that made sense. Like, oh, yeah, the younger fighter that like hasn't.
Not that much younger, actually. I just looked it up. I thought he was still like 29. He's 31 years old.
Yeah, but like if we're talking about which he's in his prime, if we're talking about like fight mileage, like Tony's been out of his prime probably for like 2 years now.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I'm just saying I thought he was younger.
Yeah, so there's not like a huge age gap difference, but there is like where these
not a big gap.
Yeah, confirmed, not a big gap. I hope Eddie Bravo is there coaching
he is
because he's got to make a comeback from telling
you got to
Imanari roll in round 5 against Justin Gaethje. He knows he needs to come back from that, so hopefully we get a good gem. But that's like my last pick before the lock. Nick, you want to go with your lock then?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick. The one thing that I have, outside of the Jack Hermanson fight, so forget that ever happened. But other than that, the locks, I've been mostly riding with over-unders, and that's probably why the Hermanson fight went wrong for me. I broke that trend, so I'm going to get back on the horse. The over in the Figgy Moreno fight is 1.5 at -170.
My lock as well. Easy as that. Stealing money.
Is that wrong?
It's right. It's right. 1.5 rounds, -170.
No, like, I say this. I literally have in my notes, no disrespect to Joe B., but Figgy's just been fighting guys that have been like outgunned. And yes. I don't like Joe B the first time, not outgunned. But after, you just knew he was going to lose the second time. Like you knew he was just mentally beaten to a pulp. So like he was outmatched the second time. And then I don't even know who the fuck did he just fight? Alex Moreno?
Perez.
Oh, Perez. Who's Alex Moreno?
You're thinking of Brandon Moreno that he's about to fight.
Yes, correct. Okay.
Why does the name Moreno sound so familiar?
Yeah,
I don't know. Fuck. Maybe because it's the headliner.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Whatever. So Alex Perez, like
same shit.
Right. Same shit. That was just, no, we'll skip that comment. But like Alex Perez, come on. We all knew that dude was going to get nuked. And Brandon Moreno, I do think now, if we get into rounds 4 and 5, Figueiredo he's throwing gas.
Yeah.
Like, this dude is he's Randy Johnson on the hill. Like, the arm is cooking at 100 miles an hour every punch. So how long he's able to do that for, I actually would be interested to see how long he, and also when I know that it's flyweight, but there's just something about everything he does, whether it's the scissor takedowns, the rolls, the Granbys, the flying arm bars. That dude burns through some energy.
Yeah.
So I guess this fight really could get interesting, actually. I fully expect Figueiredo to dominate, but I guess it could be pretty interesting come rounds 4 and 5 if Moreno's still sticking around. But that's it. Like, these two guys are way too scrambly, way too much cardio.
It's still 125. People are forgetting. It's like, oh, Moicano or Figueiredo's finished a few people at 125. Like, all the fights just finish early with 125. It's like, no, most of them go to decision. Like, most of them are pretty, like, they're high paced, but they could take a lot because of the cardio and two, because of the power. Now, Figueiredo has that kind of power, but like you said about these two being squirrely and scrambly, most people are going to see the line and they're going to look at their last fight and be like, damn, they both got first round subs. Like, holy shit, this thing's going to end early. It's like, no, because they're so slick and they're both good at grappling, I don't see it ending in an early submission.
It'll be fun. There's going to be a lot of scrambles. I'm very much looking forward to this fight. If Tony and Oliveira wasn't on this, this would be the fight of the night for me. But yeah, like you said,
they're going to get into exchanges, but I don't think it's ever like when they got in exchanges, Alex Perez versus Figueiredo, it was definitely clear like Moreno's in waters that he should not be playing in right now. Like, hindsight 2020, like maybe he reacted to some of the things, but you can see now that Figueiredo was trying to get things to the ground because he felt like, oh, I'll be able to floss on this guy on the ground. And he did. Like, he was able to do exactly what he fucking wanted. I don't know who I would say is the better grappler, but Moreno has showed like he's very, very slick on the ground and very confident on the ground that I don't think it would be a good idea for Deiveson Figueiredo to try to take it down to the ground because, like you said, Figueiredo throws gas, and I think he knows he throws gas, so he like saves his gas tank, his gas meter. But for some reason with grappling, he's willing to just like expend it all. And I could see them getting into a match where it's like, oh, well, I'm picking my shots because I don't want to tire myself from haymakers. But now that we're on the ground, I'm doing all this crazy shit because I like crazy shit. And it's like, oh, well, what happens when you're around 3, 4, 5, which is why I'm also taking not lock of the week, but just a pick Brandon Moreno by decision plus 450 because I think Figueiredo definitely has the edge because of the power. But because they negate each other away, Moreno's never been fucking finished. I don't think he's ever been finished. The guy just fucking eats punches. He's never gone against a puncher like Figueiredo, but I trust his chin. I trust him on the mat. I trust him to extend this fight. And if it extends past 3 rounds, that's somewhere where we've never seen Deiveson Figueiredo, I don't think. I don't know if he's ever had a 5-round fight. He doesn't seem like his style is built for a 5-round fight, where it does seem like Moreno's style is, where it's just like volume punches. I could see this being like an ugly fight, round 4, both guys a little bit bloody, and then Moreno's just not stopping. Like, he's just moving forward, breathing out his mouth, just popping out jabs, leg kicks, everything. So I could see him edging out a decision if it does go decision. So at plus 450, I think it's too good a value. But either way, yeah, that one over 1.5 rounds, I looked at it to see if it was on my book yet. Not on my book yet, because as soon as that one comes through, I'm putting it in. Like,
that's stealing.
I'd be so surprised if it's under a round and a half. That's so short for 125. Fight. But it's because
like
these guys are finishers. Kudos to them.
Right.
But now that they've matched opponents, like, I feel like a lot of those ways that they've been able to finish.
That's what I'm saying. No disrespect to Joe B, but like,
once Figueiredo knew, he's like, oh, I can drop you if I hit you hard enough. All he had to do was like, he just ran forward the second time and he's like, okay, I just got to wait for my counter punch. And literally every single time he clipped him, he dropped him. And so we just don't know if like he can drop Moreno. Like, we don't know where Moreno's chin is at, but Moreno's kind of showed he's got a fucking chin of steel. So very interesting fight. Like you said, I think the most excited for is Tony Ferguson, Charles Oliveira, but this is not a close second, but clear second. So
Yeah.
good card. I'm excited for it. We'll be betting all of these for sure. I'm going to be going live bullets. I had a great week last week just shooting from the hip. So that probably doesn't mean good things for me because I'm going to be walking this card with a ton of overconfidence, and my MMA ego is going to think like I know all these fights. So
Shoot to get
probably
hot,
stay
shoot
tuned
to
for a
stay
lot of
hot.
very specific by decision, by TKO over-unders.
That's where it all goes wrong every single time.
So, as usual, you could find us at Below the Belt MMA. You could find me at Broliva, and you can find Nick at _Guy. Feel free to tweet us out and let us know what you think of our picks. Let us know you think we're absolute idiots, which, as of recently, we haven't been. So it'd be smart if you kept your comments to yourself. But actually don't do that. Just leave any sort of comments on YouTube. So until next week, do we have anything next week?
I think next week's the last card that we have for a long time.
Oh, yeah, where it was something like...
We have... Oh, wait, what's this weekend? The 12th? Yeah, so we got Wonder Boy and Jeff Neal.
Okay.
Actually, it's not horrible. Wonder Boy, Jeff Neal, Jose Aldo, Cheeto Vera, Marlon Moraes, Rob Font, Alex Moreno. That's who I was thinking of. Who's fighting Anthony Pettis, I think at 170? Is that right?
It's got to be. Pettis, his 155 days have got to be over. You have nothing to prove at this point, Pettis. You're fighting for a paycheck.
Dude, I'm looking at that line already, and I'm thinking about Anthony Pettis, a -210 favorite in the year 2020.
At what age of Anthony Pettis? He's got to be getting up there now.
It's
37.
I'd age Anthony Pettis in like how they do after Christ. I just do Anthony Pettis' 10 PW you're 10 years post Wheaties.
Yeah. The further and further away he gets from that Wheaties box, the further and further
he gets. Yeah. Oh, Sajara Eubanks fighting next weekend. Dang, this is a bet. It's a bettable card.
What's funny is like it would just make sense for most, you would think like the final card of the year to be the biggest one. But I guess that's not how the UFC works. We're gonna do probably the best one we've had in a few months and then have like a drop off.
And then have a major drop off, and then for the first time in I don't know how many years, no New Year's card.
Yeah.
Nothing. They're just holding out.
They're just
holding it out till this McGregor run.
All right, guys. Well, those are our picks this week. Like we said, tweet us out. Let us know your picks. Until next week, peace out, y'all.